How's it going, everyone? ND Sean 45 coming at you. Michigan is now in the rearview mirror, and it's time to look forward to Week 2. Now, this week, the Irish play host to the Ball State Cardinals out of the MAC Conference. And this is going to be the first ever meeting between these two schools, which I find very surprising, considering the fact that both these schools are out of the state of Indiana. And you would have liked to think that at some point they would have crossed paths and played each other, but I guess that's just how the cards fall sometimes. You don't really get that opportunity, I guess. Weird, but whatever. But anyway, the Ball State Cardinals. I'm not trying to sound disrespectful by saying this, but I think I've actually said this before when we played a MAC team. I don't watch a lot of MAC football. I don't follow it. It just, I'm not saying that there's not good teams in that conference. I'm not saying that it's not good football, but it doesn't intrigue me. I'm sorry, but it doesn't. Now, of course, they put out some good teams. I think it was, it was Northern Illinois just a few years ago here made a trip to the Orange Bowl. So I'm not saying that they don't put out good teams. So don't think that I'm just trashing the conference. But getting off topic here. Ball State, they're coming off a 2-10 2017-2018 campaign. From what I was reading online, their team last year was really decimated by injuries on both sides of the ball, which really contributed to that 2-10 record. So from what I understand, this team is going to be much more improved than what they were a year ago. And from what I've seen, a lot of MAC teams, they all like to run a run and gun type offense, really high paced and so on. But obviously, Ball State is not as strong as Michigan is. But with the Cardinals, two of their biggest weapons, quarterback Riley Neal. He was one of their injuries last year that they desperately missed. His 2 seasons before that, he had averaged about 2,400 yards passing in each of those 2 seasons. I forget how many touchdowns exactly. But they definitely like to throw the ball based on those numbers. And then you have running back James Gilbert, who I think last year ran for just over 1,300 yards. So this is a team that has some firepower on it, just not all around the board. They're not as strong a team as Michigan is. Now with this game, I'm not saying that it's going to be easy for us, and I've said this many times in the past, the last thing you want to do is underestimate an opponent no matter how big or small they are. That'll get you in trouble and you'll pay the price for it every single time. But I see this game being the type of game where the Irish can get some kinks worked out. I definitely see Brandon Wimbush getting the chance to put up stronger numbers than he did against Michigan. And in the Michigan game, like I said in the post game, he did very well, better than what I thought he would. But this will be the kind of game where he'll get a chance to, complete more passes, have more yards, and hopefully have some more touchdown passes. Same thing all across the board with us. Our running backs, Jafar Armstrong and Tony Jones Jr. I think I think at least one of them will have a 100-yard day. In my opinion, I think that'll be Armstrong. And just all across the board to improve and work out any off-season rust that might still be there from the off-season. And I'm not calling this a tune-up game. I'm not quoting Adam Sandler from the Longest Yard. It's not a tune-up game, but obviously this isn't it's an opponent that's not on the same strength as, say, any one of the Power 5 conferences. But you guys get the point of what I'm trying to say. I'm probably taking too long and overanalyzing it too much. But with that said, our defense, I expect them to stay strong, to keep doing their thing and doing what they did against Michigan. So my final score prediction for this game, I see the Irish winning this one by the final score of 40-14. Things might look a little sloppy at first, but I think just like wine, we'll only get better with time as the game goes along, and this should be a pretty good win to kind of start bringing everything together for this season. So there you go, Notre Dame 40, Ball State 14. That's all I have for you guys. And one last thing before I go. Make sure you all go over to a buddy of mine, his channel. It's called Shakedown the Thunder Productions. He's done a great job putting together some highlight reels for the Irish and all sorts of cool stuff like that. So make sure you go and check out his channel. It's really good stuff. So on that note, guys, this is NDSean45 signing off. God bless, and as always, go Irish, beat Cardinals.